Psychologist and clinical psychologist Professor Jordan Peterson had a great impact on the public discourse proved by his presence in online publications. His extremely famous YouTube channel with nearly 1 million registered and welcomed around his new book. The members of the Stoic Facebook shared work from Jordan Peterson, including many of his class and public lectures, and asked whether Jordan Peterson was a person who realized the similarities between the works of Peterson and Stoic authors. Fans of Jordan Peterson, who are not familiar with the philosophy of the age, can bring great benefits from involvement with Stoicism. People find a lot of inspiration and practical solutions for personal struggles while becoming more familiar with the work of Jordan Peterson and associated with Stoic philosophy. People desire a new approach to life, instructions to structure themselves, especially after tragedy or personal stagnation. People are touched by the messages to improve themselves and build the characters found in the content of the Stoic and lectures of Jordan Peterson, urging the growth, positive change. Maybe if a good effort is made, I used from Stoic. I consulted the actual philosophy of life popularized by ancient thoughts including Epictetus, Seneca and Marcus Aurelius. Then emotional details. I do not remember Jordan Peterson mentioning the influence of Stoic thoughts or the philosophy of age in his content, but I see many similarities between his work and the central topics in Stoicism. Perhaps Jordan Peterson has been identified as a Stoic, but he can definitely see himself agreeing on the big Stoic themes and appreciates the philosophical tradition currently experiencing a modern regeneration, resonating with Peterson's audience segments. Let's explore the similarities and differences between Stoicism and the work of Jordan Peterson. I will use examples from Peterson's Stoic texts and lectures in addition to periodic topics in Peterson's Stoic and thoughts to explore the level of Stoicness in Jordan Peterson. Clean your room, get your life in order. Stoicism challenges we are responsible in our lives, so that we can aim for a happy life to pursue virtue, improve itself, have an appropriate thinking, and work to eliminate ineffective desires, i.e. want to be famous, rich, jealous and intense negative emotions, i.e. despair. Hatred and anger are necessary for a right-oriented life about the perspective. The Stoic writers focus on the common concerns of people to continue to exist in our modern era. Mostly not useful, the peak of a central field for Stoics. Responsibility, and evaluate our lives so we can improve, to realize our shortcomings and create an action plan. Come to the contest, do when they are late, and want to compensate for their time by increasing their speed. Let's walk. You put yourself together, you know how to do it, you know what is wrong with you if you will admit that. Be attached to pathology, habits and people for that problem, how to think. All of which you have to allow yourself to shake off that. Life is not a dance, but we can win and find the meaning between suffering from many lectures of Jordan Peterson. Focusing on the terrible, that the person you know will die. You know you too, and there will be a bit of pain on the way, and many of them will not be fair. It is like, it's not uncommon for you to be frustrated. It was like acting and watching what happened. You make everything you complain about extremely badly. Peterson, admitting that there are many suffering in life, saying, so what should you do when faced with that suffering? Try to reduce it, start with yourself. What are you good? Let's together. For the benefit of Christ, so that when your father dies, you will not complain in a corner, and you can help plan the funeral, and you can stand firm, so that everyone can rely on you. That is better. Don Teet is a damn victim. Humans are capable of trying towards Jordan Peterson and evil. Reflecting on World War II, note that many farmers are concentrated, at least at a time. Ordinary people like us, maybe we, like them, obey orders instead of rebellion, and participate or directly perform big brutal actions with certain pressure. With a level of courage, guidance, and commitment, both Stoic and Peterson thinkers believe that we have the ability to achieve a virtuous life, to try to aim for a good life instead of showing the darker parts of human nature. Peterson refers to the influence of psychologist Carl Jung, our shadow face, the darker sides of our personality. This potential monster inside, if we arrange ourselves with positive characteristics from the nature of nature or live in nature. As Stoic writers mention, use our theoretical capacity to have the right assessment of the world and bring the right principles into action, we can realize the potential and try towards the highest benefit virtue. It is important to recognize our holes, our weaknesses, so we don't fall into chaos. Peterson, like Stux, does not believe that people cannot change or progress is impossible. He aims to help others, educate people about how good life can look like, inspire people to create positive changes, and help people set practical goals in the process of improving themselves. The authors of Peterson and Stoic noted that although changes may be difficult and gradually, we should embark on changing journeys to improve ourselves, while notice and avoiding pressure from society can lead to us lost. When we realize that people have good and bad acts of acting, we can better deal with people who are difficult, pity them, avoid certain people, and surround us with the best friends who set their personal boundaries. Be careful in our interactions and carefully evaluate the personality of others. In Book 3, Chapter 25 of Epictetus Lectures, titled Those Who Do Not Achieve Their Goals, Mr. Epictetus noted that its luck and happiness are threatened when considering determination towards progress. It has our strength to improve ourselves, to try to aim for the good, and even if we have been faltering for a while, no one stopped us from refreshing the competition. In his letter titled Self-Control, Mr. Sen talks about how people can perform moderation and orientation towards good life. People can choose to participate in poor behavior instead of making better decisions. He writes about people who do not achieve a good life. It's because we refuse to believe in our strength. Now, of a certainty, there is something else in part. It's because we are in love with our bad habits. We maintain them and prefer to give them a defense rather than shake off them. We have been given the power of nature. If we only use this power, if we focus our strength and wake them all to help us, or at least do not hinder us. The reason is not willing, reason, incapable. Peterson, talking about people, the possibility of misconduct, reflects those who think they will fight the Nazis' power if they are in the Nazis, noted, if many people have done something terrible, you can be sure to become a person you have. In Peterson's point of view, we can avoid the darker impulses in human nature by targeting the highest benefits possible. He said, if you show yourself in the world strong, there is no effective way more to operate in the world to concept the highest benefit that you can and strive for it. There is no practical path to the kind of success that you may have if you really know what success is. The question of the common opinion of Jordan Peterson, in addition to receiving compliments, has been defamed on the common media after his opposition to Canada's Bill C-16 related to what he named the speech related to the government related to the gender pronoun. Criticize modern feminism positions. Objection what he called the new postmodernist people. Politics of identity and political correctness. Peterson spends a significant amount of time to develop additional arguments for their doubts and recognize the dangers of the common view that can make people lost from reason. Peterson diverges from writer's kill when participating in calling or regulating bad people for groups of people he does not agree. For example, Peterson has noted that individuals who are tilted left without goodwill and want to destroy society, perhaps in the state of suicide, anger. Peterson notes that he has struggled with things. Hey, quickly judge and review the most extreme examples of some Peterson groups. Peterson also disregards individuals who build themselves as mto or men in their own way, who decided to leave marriage, cohabitation and traditional relationships with women. Noted the laws they consider to be great for men, unfair legal systems in the Western world. Mto talks about men who find their own goals in life in addition to getting married, having children and sacrificing their own desires and needs for the benefit of women in a society they consider to be women, focusing on women. Like Peterson, Mto, a general opinion. Peterson called Mto weasels, pathetic weasels, and seemed to be ashamed of Mto's note. Perhaps if you have sacrificed properly, you will have a lot of trouble with women beyond. It is not a woman, then it is you. Later, Peterson said that he was overcoded to the Mto's attention agreement with their arguments against the law in the West, but later talked about Mto being a dangerous person, including young and frustrating men looking for a reason to write down all women for being rejected when dating. Peterson refers to customers in their clinical practices who have experienced destruction after divorce and talk about Mto. They have a point of the court systems that are amazing, unreasonable, anti-masculine men. Can Peterson have more compassion for men who have followed their own path and better understand their views? The author's calling for a lesser judgment approach than a Peterson deployed when talking about Mto. A more stoic reaction will control the name and simply respond to ideas. Peterson can participate more with Mto, for example, creators of Sunrise Hoodie content and people, to have a better idea of the community and ideas he is rejecting. Even better, find solutions for injustice, especially related to the law, or warn people about the dangers they may encounter. Continue to prevent them from participating in risky situations, such as marriage, will be optimal. In the end, one of the cardinal's sterile virtues is justice. Peterson, a married man who seems to have a successful, complete relationship and the family, can quickly write down Mto's viewpoint, who instead see the relationship and marriage in the current society as a significant threat to personal completion. In the end, the authors, encouraging us to challenge our impression, the way we look real, have a humble and open attitude. Stoic and Peterson writers, reminding us that what is common is not always true and can lead to harmful consequences. If there is no solid foundation to draw, perhaps just doing what feels good or not thinking about imitating others, we can find ourselves not satisfied, and without orientation, we may fail. When Peterson encourages, tells the truth, and does not disagree about the voice, or even asks questions about beliefs often kept because of the hidden social consequences, Peterson believes that we do not speak out of risk, we can accomplish in a lie and compromise our standards. To tell the truth, ask questions about common opinions, can be released and lead to social benefits, although it may have initial or continuous discomfort. However, as the writers are noted, we carefully choose our battles. Be careful and do not care mainly on the approval of others or seem to be pleasant. The letter of Seneca on the crowd talks about the dangers of participation with the masses. To coordinate with the crowd is harmful. No one does not make some vice appealing to us, or stamp it at us, or make us unconsciously. Certainly, the bigger the mob we integrate, the danger. You should not copy the bad simply because they have a lot. Regarding the subject of compliance is merely suitable to get the approval of others, especially when we act unwanted. Seneca calls us to despise the joy stemming from the applause of the majority. In the book 4 of chapter 8 of my lectures, Epictetus quoted a philosopher. I knew what I did right because I did for my benefit, not for the audience. Seneca urged us to become our own audience and search for our own applause in our letter about the healing power of the mind. The authors, such as Peterson, are also railways against deputy. Support censorship in life. Urge us to ask questions about our desires, not seek happiness in the outside, and determine what we should avoid. Peterson and Stoic authors do not feel happy as a pursuit of pleasure. They warn about the dangers that may occur when focusing too much on wealth and material goods. Although Jordan Peterson does not consider himself a Stoic person or refers to Stoicism as an inspiration, there are many similarities between messages from Stoic thoughts and Jordan Peterson involved in getting an orderly life, prevailing between suffering, the capacity for everyone to try towards good things, and ask questions about public opinion. Certainly, Jordan Peterson's work fans and even Peterson can benefit from the study and application of Stoic philosophy. I welcome feedback from fans and critics of Jordan Peterson. Perhaps Jordan Peterson will be ready to participate with the Stoic community. Justin Vacula is the server of podcast Stoic Solutions. He also served as a training consultant in a behavioral health program at the school while studying clinical mental health counseling at Marywood University in Scranton, PA. He organized monthly meetings for the Free Think Association in northeastern Pennsylvania, NEPA, and played the cards at different casinos in the eastern United States.